those who were being aggressive, how did you feel?
Amazing.
Oh, that felt so
That
good.
felt so good.
So you felt so good defending Teemal and helping with
Yes, I
Teemal? Okay. Alright, so what about you? What did you feel like?
it felt.
Huh? Huh?
That was weird, I guess.
That's weird?
Because like everyone else was doing different things and then there was only one group.
Something that made me more
Okay, alright.
I felt really good. No, really guilty. Because like I didn't want to hurt those people. I didn't want to be aggressive even though I am.
Okay, alright. How? What did you feel?
It was kind of hard to like act out like being sad because like it was like just they understand. It was like it felt
Yeah,
just
it
weird.
was so awkward.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, and what did you feel?
Well, I felt more like calm inside because like I heard everyone screaming at me, but inside of me I was just like, stay calm, straight. But also another side of me, the other enemy side of me. There we go. That's me.
Oh, you wanted to scream at it.
Literally, I just wanted to scream. I was like,
Exit side. On exit.
Okay. Alright, so you tell me, both of you, who was with you? You both. What did you feel
Oh,
like?
I felt so good to yell. Finally.
yeah.
What about you?
Good.
I don't really know.
So just
Guilty
imagine.
that he was
Okay, we'll come back to the stories. You wanted to share something? Okay, what about you? Huh? You felt confused because everyone's screaming. Yes?
Never mind, I changed my last question. I felt like I was preaching the wrong person. I felt like I was preaching the wrong person. So
Okay.
Ow!
I want to hear from, what did you feel? Feel weird, okay. Alright. Jasmine, what did you feel like?
Good, but I also wanted to yell back.
Okay, alright, yes?
It felt good, but I was terrified because like everybody was cornering us. And, like we were just trying to spread the message of the saying and saying the bad huko this and that, right? And like everybody was cornering us, yelling these mud and all of these. So I felt like running out of there and just like running back to Bluesy, but like
Let me
y'all were a
ask
bit
you.
crazy. So
That's good what you guys are saying, like what Gurmat is saying and Jasmine and those. Were you part of this group? Huh? What did you feel? The yell, you were not the yelling, you were being yelled at, right?
yeah.
So what did you feel?
calm from the inside, but like kind of angry at the same time.
Yeah, angry and calm. You're not balanced, right? So so just imagine how it would be felt by people who were trying to be the supporters of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji in the face of all these different challenges. We just picked only 4 groups, right? One group is the general population is poor, is being oppressed by the king and the forces, and then Aurangzeb adds another angle that he wants to convert people, and he's trying to push Guruji to also, lie down, don't say anything, and then you have Dheermal constantly sabotaging, constantly attacking Guruji from behind, took away Guru Granth Sahib, as the Guru Granth Sahib, confusing people, who's the real Guru, and then you have people are coming. Who was the people asking for their religion? You, right?
They were
The Kashmiri Pandits.
Yes,
They were
Kashmir.
Kashmiri.
You were the Kashmiri Pandits? Okay, so you then you come on top of all these problems and you say, my religion is being taken away. What should I, we need your help. So what do you think Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's attitude was at that time, facing all these problems? I mean, you just identified 4 problems. There were hundreds of problems, yes. And besides that, you remember he could not even spend enough time with his own son. All right. He only spent 2 years with him. Guru Gobind Singh Ji was born and he was 9 years old. First 7 years he couldn't spend time with him. So all of the first 7 years was raised by Mata Guji. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji didn't have time. Yes.
I'm pretty sure he felt on the page because he said, I don't know why Guruji will protect Guru, like Gobind Rai and the Gujari and all the other people, and I have to sacrifice myself to save these people's religion, and everything will be okay in the future once I write and finish my body.
So just imagine, like he is facing all these problems and yet he's writing Bible. Yet he's helping poor. Yet he's helping people who are fighting. He went to Assam, which is about 500 miles away, actually 1,000 miles away, and he lived there for almost 2 years, just trying to bring people together. And then he's also preaching about Sikh faith. So he's facing so many challenges. Yes.
The reason why he's doing it is because, like, if he gave them the rest they wanted, they would know that's his weakness and they would keep doing it until Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji fell. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji stayed on face. They have any emotion when it comes to these guys. So he continued writing in Vanya, and then his culture with followers with population would go.
Yes.
But if he died and was like, execution, decapitated, how did Guru Gobind Singh Ji get the good gaddi before he died? If he
They did it before he went to Delhi. They made
He made him the Guru before he left.
keep forgetting.
Yeah. So that's another thing which you just mentioned about. Like, just imagine Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, he has his own army. Okay? He knows how to fight. Remember his name was changed from Tyagmal to Tegh Bahadur. And yet, he does not pick up a sword and start fighting his opposition. He could have organized, but he wanted to get his stronger message. Okay? The time had not come that people were enough critical force that they will become a mighty power to challenge the Mughals. So, he was arrested. He started walking towards Delhi. He heard that Aurangzeb is sending his people to arrest him. He started walking towards Delhi. And they arrested him in Agra. And they kept him in jail for 3.5 months. Alright? And then they finally put him in a cage, standalone cage. He could not sit. They started driving on a bullock cart, showing to the rest of the population. Population was on the road watching this show, just like Gurmat Sahib, when it goes, we are standing on both sides. People were watching and people were announcing, hey, this is the guy who is the Guru of the Sikhs. Look, he's in cage. He's going to Aurangzeb. He's going to convert his religion. He's going to change his religion. Because they were very confident that once he gets there, we will be able to overpower him. We will be able to control him. We will be able to change his religion, right? So, and that's when he got there and he was kept in jail for a few days there too. Very little meal was given to him to eat. And he was put in a very, very small cell. There was no sun. And he was, most of the time he had to stand. He couldn't sit because it was so tight. So they were trying to break his spirit. Alright? So the greatest thing they could do to him was to, they brought him in the court and they said, because this is one thing which people in Islam, they believe that those who are holy people, if they have miraculous powers, then you should not do anything to them. Then they are like, they are especially gifted by God. So he was asked, Aurangzeb asked Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, can you perform a miracle? So he threw a stick to it and said, convert this into a snake. Guruji said, I don't do that. He said, I'm told that you are the great Guru. You are the follower of, or you are the same person who is holding the throne of Guruship after Guru Nanak Dev Ji. How come you can't do this miracle? Guruji said, I can, but I will not. Because that's not what Sikhs believe, that's not what Guru Nanak Dev Ji said. You do not challenge the power of God. You don't do things to show miracles and magic to impress people and to, show that you can change nature. Nature is God's creation. So Aurangzeb got really mad because he really wanted to see that miracle. So second thing, they said you have to change his religion. Guruji said no. So then the most powerful thing that they thought they could do is they said, oh, who's with him? There were 3 Sikhs with him, right? We all know the names? By Matidas, by Satidas and by Dayal. So they said, let's bring by Matidas. And they, how many of you have been to Siskan Gurdwara in Delhi? Okay, alright, good. Have you been to that Matidas Chowk? That place where they martyred him? Yeah. So they brought Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, and there was a big, huge tree. There was that area was all flat land. There was nothing there. Now it's so congested. And the biggest mosque is right there, Jama Masjid, and the Red Fort is there. So it's very overpowering to see this huge mosque, huge masjid, and there was a huge Lal Fort. And that's where they bring Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji under a tree. And they make him sit there, and then they bring Bhai Matidas in front, and they put 2 big, wooden flat 2x2s one on top, one on the back, and then they say, Guruji, are you going to change your religion? He said, no, of course not. And then they start cutting Bhai Matidas with a saw from top. And Bhai Matidas started doing Japji Sahib. And can you imagine for your own Sikh to see being killed and cut in half right in front of you? And if you don't do this, this is what you're gonna face. Guruji saw that, and he kept his calm, kept his posture of being unfazed, being totally concentrated on Vaheguru, right? And then they brought next day, and that was very overwhelming to see is your own Sikh cut in 2 pieces and right there lying in front of you, right? So just imagine what thoughts might be going in the mind of Guruji at that time. Then they bring next day Bhai Dayal. They bring a big pot, and it's boiling water. They put a lot of wood underneath. They start boiling this water. And then they pick Bhai Dayal. They say, Guruji, this is your second Sikh, your most trusted man. Bhai Dayal used to maintain all the accounts, all the money, all the organizational aspects of Guruji and all the Sikh community at that time. So they just picked Bhai Dayal and they threw him in the boiling water pot. It was a huge pot. And Bhai Dayal somehow kept his head up for a little while, and was also doing Japji Sahib until his body gave in and he collapsed and died. And Guruji was watching that. So just imagine your own Sikh being boiled like, it was very painful to see. And those people who were there, who were supporters of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they couldn't utter a word. They couldn't say anything because they were all scared. This is the most dreadful death anybody can witness, right? So that night again, Guruji was put in that cage, and the third day they brought Bhai Satidas. And then Satidas, the brother of Bhai Matidas, they put cotton around him. Yes.
And they gave him
Yeah, and they put him on fire. And just imagine, if you touch anything like hot, we jump, right? So by Satidas being burned, right? Then screamed, kept his calm, and slowly his body was totally in fire. And Guruji saw all. Yes.
There's apparently by Satidas, the one who got buried in his body, he fell in the direction of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji.
Yes.
And then by the Allah, when he collapsed, his finger stayed up and it was pointing to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji.
Yes. Very good, very good. Thank you, your listening for adding that. So people asked by Matidas, what would be your last wish? And he said, my wish is that when I die, I want to die while seeing Guru Tegh Bahadur. So they turned his face towards Guruji. It was equally bad from our point of view, from our human point of view, it's equally bad for Guruji to see eye to eye his own sick, most trusted person being cut in half while he's watching, or while you're watching. So it's that's Guru Tegh Bahadur. And then by Satidas, Matidas, and by Dayala. So, and we will talk about Shaheed. So just imagine, like you guys were being the defenders of Guru Tegh Bahadur, and you could feel all those emotions, even you knew that this is all act, right?
Yeah.
Like you were trying to be calm, but you were very angry. You wanted to scream, right? And you have the Irmal supporters constantly pulling you into one direction, Aurangzeb's forces pulling you in other directions, people who need help, they are being converted, they are pulling in different directions, and then you have poor people who need help, who don't have medicine, who don't have even water. The water was controlled by rich people or Brahmins, and then you have Brahmins attacking you because you are bringing low caste people into that. So this is Guru Tegh Bahadur, and what we're gonna reflect on the Bani. Okay, this is the Bani of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. Guru Sahib says, Sukh dukh jai par se nahi. Bolo sare. Sukh dukh jai par se nahi. Lobh moh abhiman. The person who does not feel too much happiness while enjoying, too much pain while suffering, and does not let greed or attachment or ego to them, they can keep them under control. Guru Sahib says that is almost you're acting like God. So Murat Bhagwan. If you want to see God in this world, living, walking, eating, sleeping, if you want to see God, how God look like, how God acts, that's the kind of person one can become while here. So Guru Sahib says you need to keep the balance. Sukh dukh jai par se nahi lobh moh abhiman. You can be a godlike. Then he says those who don't care about whether people are gossiping against you, condemning you, or fake praising you, all that, he says, and you hold gold and yes.
It's only take now.
Okay, you can go. You can hold the gold and iron as the same. That person, Guru Tegh Bahadur says, Mukt. Mukt matlab liberated, free. So likho Mukt. So look at Sukh Dukh likh liya. Lobh moh to andar, Abhiman is Hankar. Murat is the image of God. Murat Bhagwan, image of God. If you want to see God, how God will act, look at the person who is completely in balance in life. And he is Mukt, matlab be liberated. Now next line is also very important. He says, Hark sog jaake nahi. That the person is no like too much elated all the time, never be so sad. If you face all the different challenges in life and hold enemy and friend as equal, which means you don't hate somebody and you not love somebody to the point of being dependent on them. Everything in balance. That's another way to Mukt tahe de ja. Mukt matlab liberated. Alright? And the last one, Guru Sahib says, Koha Nanak har pajmana nirpay pave bas. How do you become fearless? How do you become like Matita? How do you become like Guru Tegh Bahadur ji? Guru Sahib says that if you remember Vaheguru, Koha Nanak har pajmana nirpay pave bas. you can attain that state of mind where you are fearless, when you're not afraid of anything. Alright? You can be the person that people will look at and say, oh wow, how can this person be so powerful? How can this person face death like this? How can he not be affected by such pain and suffering? But Musa says, yes, you can. Yes, you can be like that. Nirpay Pave Ma. So, Nirpay Pave Pas. So, that's the great thing about Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. And so, the next day, of course, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was brought in front of Aurangzeb again, and he said, you faced your 3 Sikhs being tortured. Just imagine what's going to happen to you. Okay. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was prepared. He said, do what you need to do. I have already made my commitment to Kashmiri Pandit. I am the one who's leading them, and you have to let these people go. You cannot convert people by force. If you want to preach Islam, preach freely. You have the freedom of, do it. But Aurangzeb, of course, is not the one who believes in logic. I want to talk to you about which year did the American Constitution was written? 17 what?
76.
No, 1776 was the Declaration of Independence.
Oh yeah.
Right? 1789, the Constitution was ratified. Right? And when did Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji had Shahidi? 1675. So just imagine in 1789, this is the first time in a written document in the American Constitution, in the first article of First Amendment, you talk about freedom of religion. Okay? That's the first time in human history a written document was written where freedom of religion was granted. But what you need to know as Sikhs, that the freedom of religion was granted by Guru Tegh Bahadur in 1675. Nobody has died defending somebody else's religion. And of course, in America also, people didn't have the freedom of religion for a long time. Okay? There were colonies, they were like, you know, whichever house you live in, whatever neighborhood you live in, they were, even up to 50 years ago, there were clauses that no Jew or black can buy a house. In some neighborhoods. In Washington DC also, in Maryland also, in Virginia also, all states had these different local laws where they had said no Jew or black can buy a house. So it was not until 1968, after Martin Luther King protested at 1963 actually, the I Have a Dream speech, and not until 80s or 70s, even now, there's a lot of discrimination. They don't have it written, or they kind of say, oh, when some black goes to buy a house in some neighborhood, they say, oh, we don't have it. And they have made videos of people, like a white couple goes and say, I want to buy a house, and they say, okay, yeah, we have a house. And same thing, they had a hidden camera, and then the black couple walks in and say, we were trying to buy a house, and they say, we don't have a place. All houses are sold. Same day, same time. So there's unwritten ways of people discriminating against religion, race, color, whatever. But this is what the most life-changing turning point in the history of human, in the entire human history. When somebody dies for somebody else's religion, that's Guru Tegh Bahadur. Tilak Janju Rakha Pravtaka. This is the line written by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. He says, Tilak is something that Hindus put on their forehead. to offer their devotion to an idol or deity. Tilak Janju. Janju is that thread, sacred thread that Hindus wear, especially the Brahmins, the people who are a high caste. Tilak Janju Rakha Prabh Tapka. Prabh, Guru Gobind Singh Ji is saying Tapka. That their tilak, just like we wear the star, we wear along here, Hindus have a tilak. They have put something on their forehead. Okay? And Janju is there, it's like a kirpan. But they believe once you wear thread, then you go to heaven directly. So Guru Sahib says, it's okay. If that's what you believe in, Tilak Janju Rakha, to protect their right of religion. This is their right of religion. To protect for their taka, Kino, Bado, Kalu, Maisaka. He says, Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is the greatest act in the present world. He says, Ino Vado. Vado means the greatest. Kalu Maisaka. That in this world, he did the greatest act. Nobody has ever done in the human history. Even up to now, 2023. Have you heard of anyone dying for somebody else's protection of religion? No one. We are the first one to die for the protection of somebody's human rights. Yes. Huh? Guru Arjan Dev Ji, yes, amen. Guru Arjan Dev Ji was more killed by because he created Guru Granth Sahib. Right? Yes. Okay. Anybody wanted to say something? So this is Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, and just imagine, it was not easy. You just did an act of 4 or 5 different forces simultaneously need your attention, need your protection. Yes.
I say it's just plain old stupid that Aurangzeb is like, oh, you should follow Islam, but then it's like, we'll kill you if you don't convert. And then people are like, you follow Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji? And he's like, fine, face death. And they're like, okay, we'll go to God. Yeah, he wants the religion to grow, but he's killing the people that is needed for the religion. That's just plain
Because
stupid.
they're not changed, so people get scared to
Yeah.
change.
Exactly.
And I was reading yesterday, last night, in the administration of Aurangzeb, they had appointed Qazi, a religious priest, as the head of all the legal matters. So even if you want to buy a house, or let's say, do anything to your property, whatever, you have to go through a Qazi. So Qazi has to approve it. Qazi has to, a religious man. So that was another way to influence how people would. So if you're a Muslim, you will do a better job for you. If you're not a Muslim, you're not a good. So that's why Guru Nanak Dev Ji also said, these Qazis are the most corrupt people. They claim themselves to be the priests, but they are the corrupt people. Yes.
What does the line on the board mean?
Tilak. Tilak is the people put a forehead, a dot. Not the woman. The woman put a dot to show that they are married. They are married. They are not unmarried. But now it's like a fashion. But in the real sense, in the religion, people put tilak to show their devotion to a particular god, either Shiv or Brahma or whatever. Tilak Janju is the sacred thread people wear on their body to show that they are Brahmin sons or that they are now going to follow their religion. Rakha is defender. You got it? Everybody? Time? Okay. So how did you feel about the class today?
It was good.
Got something new thing? Experience? Experientially? So that it also gives you a moment to reflect how we as humans face all these